This episode of the Bear and the Beard podcast is brought to you by, well, you.
That's right, Fandomites. We have launched a Patreon for the show, and we're asking you to be a part of it.
We are going to take out only what is necessary to keep the show going and to keep attending live events every month.
And the amount of funds still in the Patreon after that will be donated to our friends over the Children's of Mississippi.
That's right. In return for your generosity, the different tiers will receive different things: spring store discounts, exclusive bonus content, freebies at live events, and more.
So it's a win-win-win.
Shut up and take my money.
You help us keep the cost of the show down, get cool perks, and donate to a great cause.
Sounds simple enough. Join the Patreon today and stay awesome,
stay bearded, and much love.
Since his first appearance in Werewolf by Night, issue number 32, way back in August of 1975, the moon-themed Egyptian deity housing Traveler of the Night protecting hero known as Moon Knight has become a very recognizable hero in Marvel Comics. And now, in 2022, he's made his Marvel cinematic debut in the form of a Disney Plus series starring such talents as Oscar Issacs, Ethan Hawke, and more. So, what do? We review, of course. Joined by Nerdsquatch and Tyler the Great, the Beard and I take a nerdy look at Moon Knight, Feed the Fish, and Summon the Suit. Season 3, Episode 9, Scarabs, Statues, and Sand starts right after this. Please stand by.
Hey, listen!
This is the Bear and the Beard Podcast Season 3.
Hello there.
Your hosts are just two nerdy guys, talking nerdy things.
That's quite nerdy.
This Nerdtastic duo sits down every episode, sometimes with friends and guests, to explore a new topic related to nerd or pop culture.
Oh yeah!
They may disagree or argue sometimes, and you may not always agree with them.
I beg your pardon.
But please remember, this show is mostly their opinion with some research and facts added in along the way.
To be fair.
The overall goal is to spread knowledge and love throughout the fandoms and to have fun doing it. Welcome to the conversation. Let's get nerdy with it.
Welcome, Fandomites, to yet another episode of the Bear and the Beard podcast. I'm joined, as always, by my majestically bearded faithful co-host, Bearded Brian Guy, the Beard. Brosius Mayo, my guy.
Mail Brosius, my dude. How we doing this evening?
Doing very well. I have watched a very awesome series on Disney Plus, and I've seen a very awesome MCU movie that we're going to talk a little bit about, but not much, because this episode's all about Moon Knight. So joining us, just to get it out of the way right now, if you haven't seen Moon Knight, much like one of our panelists, go watch the show before you finish this episode. We are joined also by our social media sorcerer supreme, Jay Nerdsquatch, who is fresh off of the stage as Plankton and Patchy the Pirate at his amazing SpongeBob musical. Hello,
Thank
fam.
you.
How are you?
I am good. If I could get my camera to stay. Yay, I'm crooked, but you know what? It's okay for right now. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing pretty good. We also have returning to, but not in video format, the show, Tyler the Great, our master fabricator.
Hey.
Is the one that hasn't seen Moon Knight yet.
Moon Knight.
I love that you call me out like as soon as you get the opportunity. I love that. I love that about you.
It's all about being honest with the Fandomites. Like, we don't want to be fake. We don't want to be like, oh yeah, that was an awesome show, and never have seen it. So.
Well, I would definitely not
Wait,
lie,
we were supposed
but
to watch the show before we record this episode? I am in a bad spot, guys. Give me a minute.
To be fair,
To be fair,
I did do a significant amount of research.
Well, that's good. And like for us, I did no research on Moon Knight. Like I knew his basic origin story going into the show, period. And I, like much of the internet, thought that all those memes of like that looked like they were taken from comic books were real. Like I just thought he was a badmouth vigilante with mystical Egyptian god powers. But I was wrong. I was happy to be wrong. Thanks to this show, I've learned a lot about Moon Knight. I thought this show was very good, and we're going to get into that right after Mama Bear's fun facts.
I don't get paid enough. I don't get paid, period.
And now it's time for Mama Bear's fun facts.
That's it. That's all I know.
All right. Mama Bear has compiled a list of 5 fun facts for us today, and me and Beard are going to run them down for you real quick.
So, fun fact number 1
is that Isaac and Ethan Hawke play enemies in the show, for anyone that's seen it, unlike Tyler. But it was actually Isaac who walked up to Hawke in a Brooklyn coffee shop and convinced him to join the MCU. Rumor also has it that Hawke will be playing Mephisto very soon. So I'm not surprised with how the show ended, how they could spin that, but it would be complicated, but not impossible.
Not impossible at all. Maybe that's how they get Mephisto in. Maybe they make it Egyptian.
Or just make it so that she, well, you know, spoilers of course, but the god that inhabits his body is able to be corrupted and, corrupted and taken over by Mephisto. So that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
So, Brian,
fun fact number 2. So, fun fact number 2, Moon Knight has a mental disorder commonly known as multiple personality disorder, or DID, dissociative identity disorder. We have seen Stephen Grant and Mark Spector and Jake Lockley in the show, but according to Marvel, the exact number of identities is unknown.
And see, that is a scary fact, especially with how the show ends.
We'll talk about that little line from Khonshu later for sure.
Definitely. Fun fact number 3. Yes, it is well known that Mark Spector was a mercenary before he became a superhero. But did y'all know that he has worn many other hats over the years? He's been a heavyweight boxer, a former Marine, a CIA operative, and even a candlestick maker. Maybe he'll be a barista next. We'll see.
Just imagining him pouring coffees. I mean, he worked in a gift shop. Why not?
Yeah. Season 2 opens with Stephen Grant going, here's your espresso.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun fact number 4. So we know Khonshu gives Moon Knight his powers, but originally he can only use them at night under the influence of the moon. Under the light of the moon, his powers increase, depending on the phase of the moon.
So I want to talk about this just real quick. Does that mean that when the new moon comes, he has no powers? Or he is at his strongest because it is a new moon?
I think some of his residual strength probably stays in there.
Gotta be. Yeah, because the moon's still there. It's just not visible. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Fun fact number 5.
Yeah, last one here. While looking forward to the future of Moon Knight on the screen, we might get to see Mark Spector's best friend, Jean-Paul, a Frenchie Ducamp. Hey, we have a Frenchie.
Yes, we do.
He is one of the best-known characters in the Moon Knight comics. He's a close and personal friend as well as Mark's mission partner. Frenchie also identifies as homosexual, which was not revealed for many years until Moon Knight Volume 5 in 2006. So that would be great to have another character from the LGBTQ plus community in the Disney Plus series as well. After the success of Loki and also American Chavez, which that's Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And we will talk about that when we do a Doctor Strange episode. Please hold all of your what do they think about that? Trust me, it's not bad.
So as we said at the beginning a little bit, of course we're gonna have a spoiler warning. Spoilers. If you have not finished the show Moon Knight some people, you're gonna learn a lot about it because we're talking about everything. but every story has a beginning, and we started off with Stephen Grant.
Yes. So
and what a twist!
Right? Like
I
the
was
whole
not
show was a
expecting
twist.
this.
I was watching. We're at least a few of us, I think, are huge fans of Screen Crush, and we've talked about their videos in the past, the Easter eggs, the explanations, the music choice. The first time we see Steven, whatever it is, that was great. And then we also had the Grains of Sand song, which I can't remember the artist for that one, but the music was really the driving point for especially the first few episodes for me.
Oh yeah,
because it really introduced us to Steven. We think we have this, this guy that he's kind of being bullied around at work, and he's just going through his daily routine, and he's losing track of time. He's calling his mom, which
what I love is that how in the comics Steven, was a billionaire, and so there's common comparison to Batman. He's got all this money and he fights crime at night, right? But what they did with him almost made him like Superman. Yep. They made him like Clark Kent, this bumbling, nerdy employee who also is a superhero.
Or another comparison, they made him into Batman pretending to be Bruce Wayne, who was also pretending to be Matchstick Malone.
So
that's
like
now we're on to something.
But for speaking for someone that I was already a Moon Knight fan, like I was cool before it was cool kind of guy, which is part of the reason why I haven't.
You don't have to shame us, Tyler. It's okay.
Oh, well, I plan on it.
I'm a new fan.
I got a little redemption to make here. So, seeing Steven and immediately understanding that something was up, but not knowing what was coming next and still being excited about it, that, my friends, is how you make a captivating series. Knowing something was up, knew who he was, knew what to see, like what to look for, and they caught me tripping. And it was it was captivating. Now, I've read Hudson Finch makes a great series if you want grit and you want to learn as the action rolls. But
Jeff Lemire is really good for this.
Also, Jed McKay's new series, if anyone is in the market for reading it, it is outstanding.
I haven't started it, but
it's so good.
I love the fact that they threw in so many jokes too. Like they made it funny to the point where even for those of us that knew like this isn't Stephen Grant, like this isn't who this is supposed to be, they made it, like you said, compelling. It had all the twists and like what does a vegan order at a steak restaurant? And I don't care what Disney says. There's no Nemo fish here.
Him sitting there, sad that he missed a date, that broke my little heart.
Yeah,
I know, it was so sad.
It was so sad.
And you could tell he just gave up on life because he's just like, I'll eat a fucking steak.
So I want to ask this question and get y'all's input on it. While we're talking about Steven, we know he's methodical. We know he's the one with all the knowledge of the Egyptian gods and all that. That might be why he took the job at the museum in the first place. Or Mark Spector might have signed him up for the job and then let Steven take over. However, because we learned in like the last or next to last episode, one of the two, that he had a handle on it until something happened. And he didn't know, he mentally blocked it out of what it was. Yep. We know what it was. And we'll get to that. But so the question I pose to you is, we know Steven's methodical. And I asked Mama Bear this first episode. The locking himself in the restraint, the bungee cord, right? The ring of sand after he's in bed and all that. Great touch, by the way. If you have DID and your other identities know what you know, or at least to an extent, wouldn't that just be easy for Mark Spector to fool? Like Mark
That
just
was
wakes
the
up.
entire point.
Yeah,
he
takes
thought
the
he was
thing off.
sleepwalking.
Yeah.
It made Steven feel secure,
Right.
but he wasn't secure. Like he went and he checked the tape on the door. The
Yeah.
tape on the door is still there because Mark put it back. Mark
Right.
is methodical too.
Mark was
knows
gaslighting
everything.
him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I loved about it because it was
down to the
very
fish.
early. Yeah.
And that
He was-
fish.
It was a very early like view of there's something more going on here, even before he lost control and woke up in the middle of the field at the base of the fortress or whatever. But
What I found interesting, this story started before where we got to started. There's stuff that happened that starts this story that we didn't get to see until later. It puts us right into the perspective of him not knowing what's going on. Where am I? Why am I waking up in strange places?
which is the next topic, the waking up in strange places.
Yes.
And that was so brilliantly done. For one, Oscar Isaacs. I mean, applause all around.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I swear it's like he played 7 different characters in this show.
He did. The
He did really well.
I'm going to show you 3 photos, and they're all Oscar Isaac, but you're going to know they're different.
Oh,
we have
yeah.
Mark Spector.
Yep.
We have Stephen Grant. And we have Jake Lockley. Those are all different freaking people.
I
You
love Jake
cannot
Lockley.
convince me otherwise.
It was so well done. The first like transition scene, driving the ice cream truck down the hill, just was amazing. Just the switching out, coming back in, and I know that Brian and Nerdsquatch both have experience doing this. It was like TikTok on another level, trying to do transitions.
Yes.
Where you're trying to go, okay, where was I exactly? And then trying to recreate it, but wearing a different outfit.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
You are correct to assume that I have never done this. I like that you immediately assumed I'm not that guy, because I have never, not once, not ever.
And now we have to get Tyler on TikTok.
Now we have to. I'm telling you, one thing that this show proves is that a certain Disney franchise completely wasted Oscar Isaac, and we're not going to talk about which one it is, but
100% in agreement with that. His talents were wasted,
completely wasted, and they wanted to kill him in the first movie.
We're not going to talk about which one it is?
No.
At all? You don't think we should?
Y'all kill me.
Okay. I mean, if you don't think we should, it's okay.
Too. Look at me.
Which, by the way, just while we're on that, for all the people that are just listening to this, we're talking about Star Wars. We have our lightsabers that we have passing in front. And while we're on that subject, huge shout out to Dog Mud. I think we raised just over $350 on Star Wars Day for Children's Mississippi Hospital. That's not a confirmed amount, but that event is now it was their best night. And that couldn't have been possible without Gamma Ray Cosplay, which hopefully for all of our Patreons, we'll have an interview with her out very soon. And the 501st Rancor Raiders that were there in attendance. We had Darth Vader waiting on a table. It was awesome. It was just great. Thank y'all so much for showing up, and to everyone that showed up for that event for the trivia. We'll see y'all again at Dog Mud for Harry Potter's birthday, July 30th. So, because his birthday is the 31st, but we're doing it the day before. So that was great. And yeah, I agree. I think Star Wars kind of wasted Oscar, and I didn't even because of that. I think I was not expecting much from him. I like him, he looks the part, but until I saw that first episode where he's swapping back and forth, it's like, okay, I couldn't have chosen a better actor. If we were fan casting it right now, it would have been Oscar Isaac all the time.
I was partial to Rami Malek because he's Egyptian, but Oscar Isaac just blew it out of the water.
Rami Malek, I love him. I really do. He's a great actor, but I don't see him pulling all of those
he's
characters
really
together.
he's really small.
Well, no, it's not that. I can't see him doing a Mark Spector and then turning around and
Yeah.
Convincing us that there are three
I didn't
different
even
people
know
living
Oscar
in one
there
body.
you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no doubt. I knew this was going to be great. This show is not what I thought it was going to be from the trailer, though. I thought they were going to make the audience themselves question, is this superhero stuff just in his head? Like, I thought they were going to make it totally plausible that it's just all in his head.
Dude,
but they pretty much confirmed it with the fish right away.
That first episode that we saw, the asylum, though, had me questioning everything I knew about this show before.
That episode, though, I thought the whole series was going to be that.
And then the hippo. And then the hippo.
Okay, so I spoiled myself. I had to do the self-spoiling on that particular episode. Whenever they mentioned that he woke up in an insane asylum, I lit up. And let me tell you why. It's
Jeff
because,
Lemire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jeff Lemire, baby.
You know exactly what I'm talking. I got very excited.
Yep. And it was great.
And while we're talking about that scene specifically and people playing multiple roles, let's talk about Arthur Harrow. Ethan Hawke's character, very well done. He's actually the first person we see in the whole show doing his tribute thing, which was amazing.
We saw him way sooner than I thought we were going to. I did not think we were going to see him till episode 3, maybe 4. And first scene, we're seeing the guy put glass in his shoes and walk on him. Guy is insane, and he's got the Messiah complex going on. I mean, look at that.
And not only is he's got multiple roles. He is the I guess shunned ex-avatar of Khonshu, because he's holding some resentment for that. He's the disciple of Amet, and he's really just a guy that wants to see the world burn.
Yep.
If you think about it.
Honestly, you can't really blame the guy for being pissed off having to deal with this asshole.
Well, that's true.
Language, I know.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Khonshu was a hell of a person to have to deal with. And the actor, the voice actor for him was amazing too.
Yes, absolutely. If you're talking big picture, Khonshu's a good guy, but little picture, guy's a heartless nothing.
Well, in the Jeff Lemire run, Khonshu's the bad guy.
Yeah.
He is the villain. He did this for.
Well, he's definitely not a hero in this at all. In the grand big picture of this show, yes.
He's an abuser.
For someone that's done a lot of research and all of the other series that I haven't read, there is more times than not Khonshu is the bad guy. He's the jerk. He's usually not on the side of what, you know. But Mark Spector doesn't always see eye to eye with him. In fact, the new series starts out with him imprisoned.
Wow.
So Khonshu, although his methods are terrible for the most part, not as bad as what this guy's doing with this tattoo.
That's true. That's true.
That is
killing people before they've even done something.
And
I love the scene where he's meeting with. I love the scenes with him and Steven, not Mark. Him and Steven. Especially the first scene where they're actually sitting down talking, because he's actually kind of making his point to Steven. Steven's kind of like, oh, maybe this guy has an opinion. But then it gets to the children. Well, what about a child? What if a child doesn't pass your test? And then that's when Steven realized this guy does not care. He does not care. He's going to kill a child. And he says, I crossed the line at that. Done. And that's pretty much the moment that Steven and Mark were no longer having to fight each other.
And that's another consistent characteristic of Moon Knight, regardless of the series, is he sticks by the exact same moral code. Like the same moral compass is intact in every iteration of this character.
Khonshu's little meltdown. Killed him.
This
I
is
love
all he
Conchu.
can do. This is all he can do.
I love that banter.
You
It's
are-
like,
you are not-
is he telling you to kill me right now? Kill me. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what he's saying. Yep.
Break his
Don't get history, don't you?
And then not only that, but Ethan Hawke also played the therapist in the asylum setting.
Dr. Harrow.
So Dr. Harrow, which was that
was
I think that's what tripped me out the most was the fact that there was this character invented by, I guess, Mark and Stevens and Jake's,
Subconscious.
Subconscious collectively
Yeah.
that had Harrow in there as the bad guy, but he actually kind of helped him in a way. I mean,
in the Jeff Lemire run, it's the therapist is a woman and is literally Amit. And so
really?
I guess they were
Are you
just
talking about
like,
Dr.
I guess they were
Sternan?
just like, we're going to make her just. I don't know why they did that.
So something they had in like the first episode, and maybe it was in the second episode too, was him using the staff to like summon creatures.
Yeah.
I'm surprised in that last episode when we got the big battle, we didn't get anything like that. I mean, there was enough going on, but like the fact that they stopped bringing in the other creatures, I wonder if they didn't have enough CGI budget for it.
well, when the staff changed, I was already like freaking out when it went from a cane with two heads to an axe of judgment. I was already tripping out. I was like, oh my goodness, this is fixing to go bonkers.
And I
Wow.
love how it's inspired by comics, but it's not a direct mix of it, because you get Mr. Knight in, which, by the way,
So sharp. Look at that. That's such a
Just
handsome
looks
guy
amazing.
right there. Ugh.
The seamless transition in the last fight
Yes.
was amazing. Like that best Marvel's ever done, I swear. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. It's right up there with Doctor Strange putting on his Doctor Strange costume in Infinity War as he's coming down the stairs when Hulk falls through the ceiling. Because he goes from being in like sweats and a hoodie to all of a sudden being Doctor Strange.
He pulls something pretty spectacular in that new movie too.
Oh yeah, no, that was really cool. He did that like once or twice in that film.
Keep
We will
rubbing it in.
That is next episode, by the way.
Keep
For anyone that's
going.
curious, we're talking about Multiverse of Madness next episode.
Just
So,
throw
come
that
back to
salt
that.
directly in my eye, why don't you?
Oh, you'll love it either way. So,
So,
no spoilers.
I didn't
add a
tell
little-
you what he did. I just said he
No,
pulled an
it's just
awesome
something
trick.
spectacular.
So-
He's Doctor
Twice.
Strange. It's what he does.
Another little thing that I think added to this and the likability of this is because we're okay with got me messed up now, with our Moon Knight changes. We're
Right.
okay with Moon Knight changing. It's not something like Batman where if you change a crucial piece, all the fans are in an uproar. No, this is a character we're used to seeing in different settings. We're used to seeing him be reimagined and things change. And the base story stays the same, but sometimes huge pieces change. Like Reese isn't here, so that's a whole that's a whole nother thing in a different series that was a whole character I loved.
Not just that, but the fact that so you can change things as long as you get the core things right. And I think what
Exactly.
fans I'm not an OG fan, so I can't speak on this, but tell me if I'm wrong or right. OG fans want the look right. And as soon as they nailed this,
It was all
I
good
think that
after
sealed
that.
the deal.
Yeah, as soon as he
Like-
popped the first time, it was
The visuals
Oh.
of this show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. Visual wise, it is second to WandaVision in my mind.
Yeah. No, I can agree with you on that.
I can agree with that. Absolutely.
Just the fact that they took the time to do the shaky cam and the glitchy effect when he was changing over, that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
detail that wasn't really necessary, but it would look completely different if they hadn't taken the time. And
It was
this
also
is
a clear signifier that let us know that something was happening. So
Yeah.
everyone, even the kids that aren't watching it and understand what's going on, even the kids go, "Oh, he just changed."
Yeah.
So eventually we got to meet Mark Spector. We got to fully know what was going on. He goes to the crate. He gets the bag. He learns the unlearnable truths. There's no going back. And the story really kicks off.
Well, now, and the first time we meet Mark, which is the first time we see the suit, which you were just talking about, in the mirror was genius to me. Like, it's, hey, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Hey, listen to me. We're not going to die if you give me control of the body. Like,
just let me take care of this. We will be fine.
Yeah, I loved it. And then, the
Layla.
bag, and then Layla. Oh, she did such a good job. The scene at the end after she gets her suit as well. And the
first female Egyptian superhero. Heck
it's
man.
just so freaking gorgeous.
Now,
That's
I will say this.
Scarlet Scarab.
This was one thing that I just had to point out. Her being in that costume, her being the first Egyptian superhero, all that's well and good. But she is not the first one to fight like that. A lot of her moves were copied from Falcon. I have to point that out.
So,
not that it's a bad thing, because that means
season 2.
Disney knows what they're doing. They already have a person that fights with wings. They made it a little different, but made the battle moves the same, because you're gonna fight like somewhat the same. You're gonna have to.
Season 2 has to be called Moon Knight and the Scarlet Scarab now.
So she's the avatar of
Poetic.
So what abilities would that give her? What is Toweret's purpose?
Fertility. I don't know what powers.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's one of those, like, she is in even Egyptian mythos, even in the Marvel version of Egyptian mythos, that is her gig. It's transporting people across the sands to the afterlife. So if
Field of Reeds, by the way, looked beautiful. And we got a reference to that in the first episode. And we never got a callback to that little reference. I think that's something they're going to explore in a later season. Either that or it was just weird foreshadowing.
It's like time is in a loop.
Yeah. Because the little girl, and I remember hearing it, but just kind of brushing it off because it was weird. Did it suck for you being rejected from the Field of Reeds?
But I'm
and
not dead.
he's like, that wouldn't make sense because I'm not dead.
Right.
But then he gets rejected from the Field of Reeds.
Well, he chooses to leave. I think there's a slight difference, but yeah, he chooses to leave, and
that's what it was referenced.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure, it was definitely foreshadowing for real. And I love all the little tie-ins from the beginning to the end, especially the fact that Steven was the one to point out that there were some of the deities missing from the promo stuff for the museum. And I wonder if that's like a Mandela effect kind of thing.
It was
that,
I thought it was because they were trapped in stone.
Yes. So like Khonshu, when they trap Khonshu in stone, he no longer has purpose. He no longer can be a god. And so he wouldn't be in any of the, oh my God, the next season could be all of the gods going missing.
Yeah. And
none
of the god butcher being blamed. Oh, that'd be great. Because I mean, Mama Bear even asked, like, during the fight in the pyramid when all of them kind of start showing up, and she's like, what happened to the other gods? I was like, well, think back to when they were here last. Khonshu told them, come back from the overvoid. We need you here. Which means even though they had avatars there, they couldn't just pop up in the pyramid to do battle, even though they might have wanted to. So
also money.
Yeah, also that. Also money.
Also money.
We met Mark Spector, the tomb, the death of the hero. Did anyone else get Indiana Jones vibes from that whole thing?
Yeah.
And that was obviously on purpose because the way that was supposed to reference in his mind was a knockoff Indiana Jones in the asylum. So basically they get to the tomb and they lose because Marvel heroes have to lose before the big finale. They have to lose everything. All stakes have to be off. They had to be literally dead or close to dying. And
It's the
that
kind
is
of
what
stuff that
happened
makes
here.
Zack Snyder go, I really want to do a Marvel project now. Ever since he got his Flash redemption thing.
So we got that shaky sarcophagus of Jake Lockley. That was awesome.
Yeah. In the asylum.
We got them
yeah.
freaking out.
I loved
was
that.
amazing.
That's so awesome.
The fact that the tomb itself, before we got to that point, before he died, was of Alexander the Great, was awesome to me, because I am dipping my toe into like actual classic lit stories of ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, stuff like that, with a little known podcast, or well, it might not be little known to everybody else, Myths and Legends, which puts a modernized spin on classic tales like that. And I actually know a lot about Alexander the Great, so for him to make a cameo in the MCU was pretty interesting. Like
I was hoping it was Kang.
Oh,
I was hoping he was gonna go, is this the lost tomb of Rama Tut? And just mic drop.
That's funny.
All apocalypse. Just
or inside the Nerd, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, they were at the end of their wits. They were dead. Hera was gonna win. Rising Amet. Kanji was turned to stone. Which, by the way, the consequences of why he was turned to stone was pretty freaking beautiful.
Yeah, that was the coolest scene.
That scene was just When you're trying to hate Khonshu, scenes like that don't help.
Right.
At all. Yeah, that was awesome.
He kind of has that mentor vibe.
And the figure 8 that the moon was doing was like my favorite part, but then there was also just the sun streaks across the sky. I told Captain Sexy Beard, he was here with us when we watched, I think it was 3, 4, and 5. No, it was 3 and 4. When that scene came up, I was like, dude, because the whole world's seeing this. Could you imagine how many people are going to turn away from drugs after tonight?
But it's the MCU, and we're 18 years into this. Are they not used to this?
Right? Like, how many people just looked up and going,
Guardians of the Galaxy has happened, okay?
Yeah, like, they're just looking up going,
when they're jumping from jump points, come on.
They're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
More stuff is happening.
Like, the same people that looked up and saw, what was his name? The Celestial.
Tiamat.
Yeah, just coming in.
Or Arashim.
Yeah, Arashim. Yeah. Just Arashim just coming in and breaking the clouds. Because he's like as far out as he could be without touching the planet. And they're all just like, oh, this is a good day to give up your brain-altering drugs.
Mm-hmm.
How many of them are going, dude, are you seeing this too?
I love how they explain the dialogue of the gods, like explaining Khonshu and Tauret and Amet, and they're explaining them in natural dialogue that doesn't feel forced for those of us who find Egyptian mythology quite confusing. I love Greek mythology, but I gotta admit, I can never wrap my head around Egyptian mythology.
Well, and one of the key differences, I think we were talking about this in a chat the other day. One of the main differences between Greek gods and Egyptian gods is that the Egyptian gods, they existed, and the people that worshiped them gave them their responsibility. Like, please, well, they didn't give it to them, but they asked them, like, please be our god of this. Please be, you have the utmost power to do this. Could you do this for us? There were very few Egyptian deities that already had a purpose before they introduced themselves to their worshipers. Whereas opposite side, Greek mythos, where it's like Zeus is like
worship me or I'll
worship
throw some lightning at you.
Yeah, right.
Zeus is a dick.
I can't wait to see Gore the God Butcher absolutely just destroy him.
Oh my goodness.
I know an insane amount about mythology because I have no life.
And I think a lot of people try to like Zeus because they compare Greek mythology to Christianity. So they think, oh, Hades, devil. Oh, Zeus, God. No! Actually, maybe flip those up a bit.
Yeah.
You should look into Saul and Jesus. Those two have a lot of similarities, and that's really weird.
Yeah. Getting
Raw, I
to
guess.
the we talked about the asylum, Egyptian afterlife. You brought up the reeds. That was very interesting. And then we also had the scene where we had Steven fell off the boat, and he turned to stone. Now, and I have this question, and I heard it explained in Stream Crush. I don't think we've talked about it, and this is the perfect place to do so because this episode all about this show. Why was Steven treated as a separate soul if he's just another identity of Mark Spector?
Because Mark Spector is a fractured soul. Because of his different personalities, those personalities live.
Whole soul.
You have to remember. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I personally think that kind of how Tarowet said that the afterlife is kind of manifested by the believer. So there's tons of different planes, and whatever you believe throughout your life is what your afterlife is. Okay. So if I died right now, I'd go to the Christian heaven. So, what they're saying is that possibly he literally, because people with the ID will tell you that is another person.
Yeah.
They will tell you that is a totally separate person. So when he died, they separated.
Yeah, because he took 2 hearts. She took 2 hearts, one from each of them, and put them on the scale. It was
beautiful.
Yeah, it was very well done.
They were marble.
And
I thought I love the fact that I was wrong about this because it solidifies everything that Jay just said, and I love everything you just said. I thought that wasn't the case. I thought that the reason there was an imbalance was they needed all aspects of his soul to be there. So I thought the fact that sarcophagus was locked meant that they couldn't cross over. But I'm glad to have been wrong about that because that means that it really is manifested and they are individual souls if that's what they manifest.
And that was going to be my follow-up question of if Steven's a separate person, why were the scales balancing at all? Because Jake Lockley's identity was still locked in the sarcophagus. But as Jay said, if it's manifested, Mark doesn't know, Steven doesn't know about Jake. They wouldn't know to manifest him as a separate entity. Thus, they are imbalanced because they see themselves as themselves.
And that also explains why the sarcophagus is locked away, because that makes the audience, myself, think that meant Jake has been locked away, but Jake's been showing up.
Yes.
Yeah. He's been brutally murdering people.
And to the people that said, because I remember we talked about this, to the people that said, "Oh, we've seen Jake. We've heard Jake talk already before."
I was wrong.
I don't.
There was a lot of people on TikTok who were telling me I don't know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I said that's not Jake Lockley.
Now,
the reason why I said that was because I look at Stephen Grant. Stephen Grant is an opposite of what he was in the comics, and so I thought, why are they going to give them an exact representation of what Jake Lockley was?
And you're right, Jake was completely different.
Yeah,
and we see him at the very end. He's speaking Spanish.
He's like the Latin influence. Yeah,
that was one thing that was kind of like, okay, then we haven't seen him before because he's speaking Spanish.
I thought it was Bushman. I'm not gonna lie.
Now I will say that Screen Crush pointed out there was one instance in the asylum where Mark is addressing Dr. Harrow, and they say that is as close as we probably got to Jake being out without speaking with a Spanish accent or anything like that. But the tone changed even for Mark to say what he said. I can't remember the line. So there might have been one instance beforehand, but all those theories came out long before that episode. So I don't think so.
And so it confirmed that they have Jake locked away. They probably have a lot of personalities locked away because it sounded like Khonshu had some dirt. But then eventually, I can't remember because he was asking me because of course he hasn't seen it. He needs to get on seeing it.
I do want to say something real quick. Don't forget.
Tyler the Great was asking me, how did they bring them back to life? How did they free Khonshu? And I actually couldn't remember.
Oh, they just Layla smashed the stone that was
I was expecting it to be some big to do.
Yeah.
Then we have everyone back. By the way, Amit looked amazing.
Yeah. I would have liked her to be more animal-like instead of humanoid because she's not a goddess. She's the pet kind of Anubis.
Right.
She's his dog, you know?
Yeah.
So I
Tyler,
was
you
kind
were-
of like, why is she being treated like a god?
Yeah.
I wanted to say something as far
Oh, yeah,
as
go ahead, Tyler.
the sarcophagus and the representation that the personas are locked away. This is also something that runs through the comic series several different times. There's actually a guy. He controls people with his sweat. It's a really gross situation, but it was one of those things where, yeah, I know you should definitely read the new series though. But it was one of those situations where he couldn't. He didn't just immediately attack this guy. He allowed himself to be taken over and let this man enter his mind. And he locked him away in a sarcophagus near his other personas and just never released him. He just left him there to rot. Wow. And he left this man in a coma. And that's not the first time he's done something like this. He broke, who was it that he broke his mind by letting him enter his mind and try to control him? And Mark beat the crap out of him from the inside out. It was awesome. I don't remember which series it was.
I can't.
But you remember it happening though. It was the thing that happened.
I've heard of that story arc, but I could not tell you who it was.
But that's a whole different series than the one I was talking about. So maybe that's what those sarcophagus are. Is those are places to store them when they're not being used instead of having them run around and.
But I think in the asylum, it was more so that since it was their manifestation, because they don't know about him, he's locked away. But the reason why he's shaking is because he wants out. Because
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is those sarcophagus could be just tertiary symbols to let you know that they can come in and out of like stasis.
Yeah. So then we get the big fight.
Yeah. The big kaiju battle.
Kaiju battle.
It definitely.
Oh my god! Yeah, I mean, look at how freaking huge these things got to be.
Mama Bear did point out one thing
cool.
that they didn't get right as far as a visual or /sound effect. They're over there fighting like where you can see them, and yet the earth is not shaking. So, like, that's one.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, look at how freaking.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
They're gods. Are they
It's magic.
ethereal or are they?
We've got a freaking kaiju up in this.
So what we see, there's one scene where he's actually where Khonshu is picking up his staff, and it moves the sand and it moves a truck that it was parked next to. So they were definitely interacting with the world around them.
You're right.
But the earth not shaking. There's no earthquakes. There's nothing like not visible or not heard anyway. So
maybe it has something to do with the fact that they were standing on sand.
Maybe. You
I'm not a science guy, but I'm sure someone here could Google that.
I did have a good joke that I told Mama Bear because when Amit was using her hair as a weapon against Khonshu, and then she put him in a headlock, I said, so she just used her dreads to put him into a headlock. Does that mean he got dreadlocked? So it was a dad joke. Leave me alone. I'm a dad. I can make those.
That is definitely a dad joke, my friend.
But yeah, and then we met Jake Lockley at the very end, which when they cut back to the asylum for Mark in the asylum, that again tripped me out. I'm like, stop doing this to me. Like, there's
but it was
no
him
way
accepting it.
Right.
I was so glad because I had that same reaction. I was like, no, don't tell me the whole freaking season is going to be in his head. No, stop it.
And then there was also during the final fight where him and Steven both kind of confer. It's like Mark's like, that wasn't you, was it, Steven? He's like, not a chance, mate. It's like, so now they know there is another personality in there somewhere. And
the biggest fight scene of the movie we didn't even get to see.
Right. That happened a lot in the show. I mean, Jake comes out and handles business a lot during the show.
I remember sending you guys a message the day the last episode came out, and I was doing it spoiler free because I wasn't sure who had seen it. And I said there is a after credit scene, And definitely watch it, because before the after credit scene, when the credits rolled, I got this feeling the show's not done. That's weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird place. And then we pick up to the limo. I've recently been reading.
It's so
I've recently
fun.
been reading some comic books, and so I just love this so much. And my big question is, do we think it's self-driving? Does it look like Jake was driving it? In the comic run that I've been reading, it's a self-driving car.
I would hope that it's Jake Lockley driving it.
It could be that Jake drives Khonshu around in it for now, but then maybe it will become self-driving if it's not already. Like, it might already have that capability. That would be very interesting to find out.
That would be an interesting joke later. And when Mark is like, "What do you mean you don't need to drive it?" And then Khonshu says something smart ass like, "I just like the feeling of being driven around."
Yeah. And Khonshu in a suit that was very reminiscent of Mr. Knight's suit was, to me, now I know that comes from the comic books, but to me, as a viewer that knew very little about Moon Knight going in, I saw that as he's accepted the fact that Steven's different style actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like,
it just does, though.
he might be a bug, but he dresses nice, you know, kind of.
I hope he gets wiser and gets more Sherlock-like in the comics.
Yeah. I love the
So-
Mr. Knight, though, especially when he first shows up and he's doing the shadow boxing. I freaking love it.
I do have a
Sing like a
question.
beaver's, or no, move like a, what was it? What's the
Float
line?
like a butterfly, sting like a bee. My name is Steven with a V.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, so here's my question.
Okay.
All right.
Do we remember the Ethan Hawke from his first appearance in the Men Award? Okay, that ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, so that they made that up in their head, right? They kind of assigned him that position.
Yeah.
Why the sweater vest? Why?
That's a good question. I was also thinking, why the glasses and the mustache? Because he looked like Ned Flanders.
He did. It was
Right,
Ned
right,
Flanders to a T.
The Ned Flanders stash and hair, I can handle that, but that sweater vest,
Everything
it just hurts my eyes.
He looks like he's gonna ask me if I want a hug.
It's their outward representation that he has no style.
Oh God!
Like, even as
He wears that
even as a
weird
person.
baggy shirt. I hate his outfit.
Oh my god,
Right.
this
That is so terrible.
What is it?
It's not even
Everyone-
a comic book.
that looks like a one-piece thing. So I
That
think
first-
everyone with
yeah.
long hair is gonna cosplay him this year.
Oh yeah. And there's going to be some people, if they don't have a cane, that are going to ask him, "Are you a judo master?"
I love it.
So before we get to the ratings, if y'all don't have anything else to talk about for the show, I think all I can say, other than rate this amazing piece of Disney Plus entry, I think it is right up there on par with what they've done already. WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, all those shows. And even with the Netflix series. I mean, there were hints of Daredevil, Punisher, like the Defenders, all throughout this show. And one thing that I did like, I know it's not a topic of ours, I love that this show did not depend on the MCU at all.
Yeah.
There were no references, not to the blip.
Apparently,
not to
the director said there was
Avengers.
supposed to be a couple, but they decided they didn't need them.
They didn't.
No,
The
this
show
was
stood
definitely
very well on its own.
Very
I
much
think
so.
so.
I hope that's a direction they keep going in.
Yeah.
Me too.
We don't need them to connect right at first. Give us connection toward the end.
We're
As
smart
I've
enough to
heard-
know this is happening in the same world without seeing Iron Man
Right.
float across the screen.
I saw a really interesting rumor earlier today, and this could mean that Cap 4 is about the invaders, but apparently Oscar is signed to do that too. That the team in Cap 4 will be Sam, Bucky, and Mark Spector.
Now, that
I
would
don't
be
know
awesome.
why or how, but I can't wait to find out.
I do have.
Let
Oh.
Bucky have been an old friend of Oscar of
Oh,
Mark's.
that would be so cool.
That
One
would be
last thing that
great.
we didn't talk about.
Mhm.
Mark's mother.
Oh my god.
All right.
Worst MCU parent ever.
I
in
only
my
have,
opinion.
well, Ego was kind of bad.
Ego's bad, Thanos is bad, but she takes the cake.
I'm a firm believer in grieve your way, that no one should tell you how to grieve, but taking the death of a child out on your other child, to me, is wrong. And
Not just
to the
like,
extent,
it wasn't just like she was doing it
No.
wrong for a little while. It was his whole life.
yeah,
Yes.
to the point where he had to invent a whole new identity just to be able to handle it. And though I'm glad that like in the long run, I'm glad that it was that severe and that he needed Steven for that. But I don't like it when Disney makes the parent the bad guy. As a parent, I don't like being the bad guy, even when I have to be. So
Well, there's
to
bad
see
parents
that,
who are the bad guys.
But
Well,
she
yeah.
is a bad.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between you and her,
Yeah.
is that you're not a bad parent.
right?
Your kids may view you as the bad guy when you crack down on them, but you aren't
Right.
hitting them every night.
As
No,
she
someone
was
who
hitting
has
him.
And that was
As someone who has a bad parent, it's nice to have a relatable, like, oh, a superhero had to deal with some.
Oh,
parental
absolutely.
too.
and it's great.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do
to
wanna
that
drop-
extent, it's good.
I do want to drop something here, and a little honorable mention in the category. Let's talk about Sandman as a dad.
I don't know. I view him kind of like I view Mr. Freeze. You know, he's just doing what he
Yeah.
he feels he has to do.
Exactly. See, that's
Because
kinda
I
where
care
went
about
with
my
it.
daughter, I'm gonna let lots of other innocent people die because greater
Yeah,
good-
my daughter or
greater
my
good
wife.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, what? No.
Sandman's not all about the whole
I
death
can
toll thing.
I
If
can
you notice,
sympathize.
he
Yeah,
does
but
a
there's
lot
a lot
of
of
midnight
collateral
robberies.
damage.
There is
And-
a lot of
and-
collateral damage, but he is not one for knocking a
Right.
building down. He is one of the ones that ends up doing a little anti-hero work here and there. He's one of those guys that Spider-Man tends to let go more than not.
Yeah.
The Death
So-
of Sandman comic is fantastic.
Well,
Very
and-
good.
And I'll say this too. This is a direction that Disney is taking very seriously. Like in this show, they talked about DID. They talked
Yeah.
about abusive relationships and stuff like that. They're harping on these, and some people will tell you, "Oh, they're pushing this agenda." No, they're not. This is already in the comics. Shut up.
Yeah,
I
it's
would make-
existed.
Yeah.
Hey, people might disagree with me. I would make the argument that Thor's bipolar. As someone who's bipolar, I see a lot
Yeah.
of
I could
of
see
that.
that.
Yeah.
We'll see you in
Yeah.
Thor for Love and Thunder for sure. And they definitely are still pushing that agenda in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness with Wanda showing back up. No spoilers, but that is for sure another thing that they're still doing very well, in my opinion. So before we get to ratings, let's do our Talk Nerdy segment. I have a very interesting question to ask you, gentlemen, and our viewers. So let's do that real quick.
Hello, can you hear me?
Each episode, the Bear and the Beard ask a question that they want your input on, along with sharing comments, suggestions, and other things they have already collected. They love to hear from their fans, so let's get nerdy with it.
All right. So normally we agree on these questions in advance, and I give y'all a little bit of time to prepare
Yeah.
an answer, but this time
Yeah.
we're not going to do that. So the question
We
for
haven't
you,
done that.
my assembled panelists, and the question for our fandomites is: which Egyptian deity would you like to be an avatar for?
Dude, that is
already
where my
know.
brain went as soon as you said you weren't telling us. I said he's gonna ask us what we'd be an avatar for.
Absolutely
That is a great
Anubis.
question.
Anubis.
And
That's a
it
good one.
instantly. At my right arm, right above my wrist, there is a tattoo of the crest of Anubis.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Huh.
Not even gonna lie. Not even gonna lie. I'll go with Khonshu.
Khonshu. I think I go with Khonshu
Because-
all the time.
Yes. Because yes.
I gotta say, Osiris. I'm all about meet some underworlds.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
I think I would go with Horus.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a great one.
either Horus or because in the Marvel universe, now this is Marvel universe. I'm on the Marvel side of things. Bast is
Bastet.
male represented, so that would also be. Which I mean, I don't care either way if it's a female represented, but that Bast in the Marvel universe is a BA. Like it's the BA in Bast stands for badass. You know, so either Horus or Bast for sure. And we want to hear from you, Phantomites. Let us know which Egyptian deity you would like to be an avatar for, much like Mark Spector is Khonshu's. And let us know that before our next episode. We don't have any Talking Nerdy stuff to talk about this week, but get those in and also check out our other posts. We have the Batman input that we asked your input on. We had a few responses to that we've addressed otherwise. And let us know what you think.
Be sure to send in your response to this week's Talk Nerdy topic, and any other nerdy stuff like episode topic suggestions, fan theories, or cosplay photos so we can put it in future episodes. If you think it's nerdy, we want you to share it. The Talk Nerdy links like the email and website are in the episode description as always. And don't forget you can also call or text the Nerd line. That number is in the description as well. That's all for now. Let's get back to the show.
We're on to ratings. And I got to get a photo. So real quick, while I'm doing this, Jay, 10 scale, how many Squatch prints do you give?
I'm gonna say 9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10 Squatch prints. Very nice. I think I would give this show 9 out of 10 beards.
9 out of 10 beards. That's high praise. I'm going to go with you on that one as well. 9 out of 10 bear paws. I really don't. I can't think of anything else that they could have done other than give us more, because as we know, the last episode, it actually was the shortest episode in all of Disney Plus Marvel history. So give us more of it, maybe. But other than that, it was a little slow at parts, but not slow to start, not slow in the middle. Like it was not slow in any one place.
Right.
Like it was.
We got action in it a lot sooner than I thought we were going to get action.
And we had to be introduced to these characters, which that makes sense for the slowness. But as someone that's like, I can take it. Come on, give me. That's probably all of those reasons is why I knock it down one peg. I did just get this for Tyler. Tyler, how many loots?
I was looking for an image to send to you that was also a loot.
How many loots do you give the Moon Knight show? Oh wait, you haven't seen it. So
well, okay, so far.
But what you've seen so far, yes.
I am only missing one episode, so
okay.
So far, I would definitely agree that it would be a 9.5 out of 10. This is by far the most fun. Now, I am a little biased because we're finally covering something that I know something about. So, of course, it's going to be a little higher than most. But I think on its own, it really, truly is one of the things that's going to stand out for the rest of the franchise.
That's how I felt about WandaVision. You know,
I love WandaVision too, by the way.
I feel like Tyler's just sitting in a room on fire as we're telling him, you need to check in on the show. And he's just like, this is fine. This is all fine. So
yes,
I'm gonna take this abuse.
That is exactly what's going on over here. Like I'm plotting out how I'm gonna hide at work and watch the rest of it at work tomorrow.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, we really appreciate y'all being on the show. As always, we appreciate all of our fandomites for listening and watching. If you haven't signed up for the Patreon yet, please do so. As I said, we're gonna have extra content coming out to our top 2 tiers people very soon. Next event is we have gotten confirmation we're going to be at Jackson Comic-Con in June. So come and see us. Beard's flying down from Nebraska. Tyler's coming over from Lake Charles.
I will be there.
Nerdsquatch is coming up from Biloxi. The whole squad is most likely going to be there, along with a bunch of our other friends. Ori from Geeky Vengeance, Monique Dalton from Southern Geek. Love y'all so much. We actually saw them when we went down to see Jay's play, which was amazing. By the way, I wish I could have taken video, like just been like, "Hey, I'm press. I need footage of Jay."
I was not able to see it, but I did see a video online of you doing your rap, and that was fantastic.
It was my favorite SpongeBob episode ever, and it wasn't even a SpongeBob episode.
I think I'm gonna need a link to this rap. I'm a bit left out.
Yes.
Well,
when we
we'll share it to the patrons.
Well, oh yeah. But for Mississippi Comic-Con, I'll actually have Mr. Knight done, hopefully.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
And also, now that is the next event that we're going to actually have a table at. But if you're going to be at MobaCon, come and see me and Jay. We're going to be walking around. If we do both days, we're going to be walking out as Riddler and Dr. Hugo Strange, and then Mr. Fantastic, Dr. Reed, and Dr. Hank McCoy.
Heck yeah.
So come and see us at that. Like I said, we don't have a table or anything, but we love going to cons, and we're probably going to go to that one. So that's going to be real fun. In the meantime, Tyler, go finish Moon Knight, and and we will see y'all next time. Until then, I've been the Bear.
I've been the Beard.
We want to remind you, as always, to stay awesome,
stay bearded,
and
much
love, guys. We'll see y'all next episode, which is about Doctor Strange. We are out of here.
Boom, cut the check.
All right.
Another episode done. We hope you enjoyed it. New episodes are released every other Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Check back then or subscribe so that your device downloads it automatically. Audio episodes are now available pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, so it's really easy to share them with all your nerdy friends. For YouTube viewers, subscribe and click the little bell so you're notified about all our new content. And Apple users, please don't forget to rate and review on the app. That helps more nerds find us. Links to talk nerdy to us can be found in the episode description as always. You can chat with the Bear, the Beard, or the rest of the Bearded Bear team, head researcher and graphic designer, Mama Bear, the master of marketing, Han Bralo, or the social media sorcerer, Nerdsquatch. Huge thanks to them and all of the geeks of the round table and friends of the cast. Much love y'all. Lastly, for more cool music like this awesome new outro track, go check out Harlequin Soul, Secret Apex on Facebook and Spotify. His links are in the description as well. Talk at you next episode, nerds. See you then.
Are you a fan or just pretend? I'd like to know if you're a friend or an enemy. If so, stay away from wrong me. Welcome to the end. Are you a fan or just pretend?
All right, y'all ready for y'all end of the episode joke?
Yes.
I got a joke for you.
In honor of Star Wars Day, which just passed last week from recording, why did Han Solo not enjoy his steak?
Why not?
It was chewy. See you next time, guys. We're out.